Now, the implementation of these tariffs has business leaders across the country deeply concerned. For a look at how they will affect Canada's aluminum industry, we're joined by Jean Simard. He is the president of the Aluminum Association of Canada, and he joins us from our Montreal studio. So, Jean, what effects will these tariffs have on the Canadian aluminum industry immediately and then in the short term?
Well, immediately, we're already ready to implement those tariffs as our metal leaves the gate towards the border. We've been there before, as you remember, 5 years ago, so we know the mechanics of tariff implementation. But mostly, I think what we have to keep in mind is that the full impact of those tariffs will be mostly felt on the other side of the border. The U.S., by putting a 10% tariff on aluminium as a critical minerals, with an additional 25% probably kicking in as of next week, have really, at the end, increase the cost of buying aluminium in the American market for the weeks and months to go.
And we know that many cities in Quebec, Jean, and Ontario rely on aluminum production as their main source of employment. So what kind of job losses could we be looking at here? I know you said that a lot of the pain is going to be felt by the American importers, but is there concern that this could lead to job losses on this side of the border as those American importers either can't afford or choose to try and get their aluminum elsewhere?
Well, you know, we've been through situations like these in the past. Let's remember the Great Recession of 2008, and then more recently the pandemic, where the manufacturing capacity in North America entered into a slowdown and almost a full stop for quite a period of time. And we were able to keep producing and shipping our metal to markets and keep all the jobs going in our aluminium communities around Canada. And I think that this is what we have ahead of us. The pain will be felt more downstream of primary production in small businesses, mom and pop shops in the US and perhaps in Canada, where the price of metal will be increasingly more and more expensive, and they will have impact on their margins and on their cash flow. So on this side of the border, both the Canadian and provincial governments, the Quebec government, have already announced programs to support those small and medium businesses through this chaotic situation in the coming weeks and months. So I think that we're very agile in order to address these situations for this part of the metal production.
And data from your association found that the U.S. relies on Canada for 75% of its imported primary aluminum. So what kind of effect will these tariffs have on U.S. industries? And it's this high-grade aluminum, right, that they really rely on?
Well, this number, basically Canada produces 80% of all the primary aluminum in North America. And the U.S. uses our metal, which represents 70% of all the primary metal that they consume. So this is why putting such a price tag on Canadian aluminum will increase the overall cost of buying aluminum. We're already seeing it. You know, since the Trump election, part of the price of the commodity, which is the regional premium, has gone up all the way from $350 to close to $900 per ton. So the market has already started pricing the signal of the tariffs. So it just keeps going up. And this will impact those businesses on the U.S. side. It will increase the cost to consumers to buy products that are made out of aluminum. Pickup trucks, Ford 150, will cost $3,000 more just for the aluminum part of it. We're not talking about the tariffs on steel or other components. And you'll see the same thing in cars and in electrical appliances and other consumer products. So it's very inflationary.
It's very inflationary. All right. Yeah, we're trying to make sense of it all, and it just doesn't seem to make sense when you put it in those terms. Jean, thank you. Jean Simard, president of the Aluminum Association of Canada.